everyone knows, because we won't be referring to you guys throughout the podcast, but I do want you to know that the more money you give, the more controversial my opinions will get.
This is how I get cancelled. I do you know what? My dream is cancelled via conversation with Joe, because like that you can't lose. It's just a publicity stunt.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm like that friend where you're like, you're trying to get through to me. You're good-hearted enough to be the one being like, stop. And I'm like, I can't.
I feel like that is also a problem. Do you know somebody came in the other day though and was like, do you know you look like this streamer? Her name's The Silly Series. And I was like,
It's the Australian thing, right?
I'm like, do you not know that we know each other? Like,
It's okay, so
it's been
I'm
years.
I'm friends with two actors who are Australian actors who work in Hollywood, who both look constantly, all they get told is that they look like Margot Robbie. I think if you're just Australian, you just look like other Australians.
And maybe with blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a redhead now for the time
Yeah,
being.
that makes us different.
Yeah, we're not, yeah. So different. Humble brag. Oh, Joe knows everyone.
Oh,
you know
if I was bragging, I would have name dropped, but
yeah.
I didn't.
And also, you know how like I am a spy? Like Joe could be like a spy, so
We're just the same. We're the
yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you have our agenda for our meeting? We have to start our meeting.
Yes, the meeting is up. The agenda is up. It is 9:11.
That's all right. We had our coffee. We got our cakes.
We did. You
know,
we're ready. I'm giving you that as like a time reference.
Okay. Oh,
So
I see what you're saying.
So yeah.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was secretary. I'll just note that down for the minutes. Do you have any apologies?
No. Sorry. Okay. Wow. So serious. How do we start these things?
We start these things by me telling you why I called this emergency podcast.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for calling this emergency podcast. Why did you call this?
Well, Taylor Swift was named Time Person of the Year.
I did not know
And you're
that.
the only person I wanted to talk to about it.
Why? I did know. It was very exciting. Did you read the whole article?
I did read the whole article.
Yes.
And I do have to let you know before we start. I think you already know this, but I have to put it out there. I am Taylor Swift's biggest fan / anti-fan. Right?
I can understand that.
I have a lot of problems with it. I critique her, yet I know every single word to every single song.
That is relatable.
And I spent a stupid amount of money on tickets. So I'm not an unfan. Like, I'm willing to cut her some slack, but I'm not willing to cut her much slack.
Yes. We were there on the same day. We bought tickets on the same day. We were discussing which packet to buy. Which package?
I should have spent more money.
Do you have regrets about?
I do.
Yeah.
I have huge regrets.
I have no regrets.
I know you don't. And that's the fact that you have no regrets is part of the reason I have regrets. But you know what is making me feel better about it? It's like, I don't know her. Okay. Did you think she deserved to be Time Person of the Year?
She is everywhere. She is absolutely everywhere. And I do think that she is having impact beyond the scope that other people might be having impact right now. Do I think that celebrities in general deserve like Person of the Year? I'm not sure. I'm open to discussion. I do think Taylor Swift does good. I think she could do more good. I will be interested to see how 2024 goes though. Because it's feeling oversaturated right now. I'm feeling like the world feels oversaturated with Taylor Swift.
I feel like she's doing the most because I think she's about to take a big break.
And have a family? Do you think she's going to get married and have babies and stuff?
I don't know what she's going to do, but that's part of what annoys me. It's like she's going so hard. I'm like, you could actually afford to tank your career right now and come back in 10 years. Like if you wanted to make a big political statement, you could.
That is very true. But coming into 2024, do you think she's going to try and impact like the election at all?
No, I don't.
So you don't think the fact that she baked cookies for Biden the first time, you don't think she's going to do that again?
I think it takes more than cookies.
I agree.
And I think like this is my big question. It's like, should celebrities stay in their lane or should celebrities be involved in politics? Okay.
I agree. I don't think anybody is getting out of politics now. I think if you have a public persona, unless you get in, like, people are going to be so awful to you no matter what. And like, you're kind of forced to have an opinion these days.
It's not even like this is something that really annoyed me because I don't know if you saw what happened to the actors at the Sydney Theatre Company, but they got trashed because they wore keffiyehs in their curtain call.
I
And
didn't
so,
see.
yeah, so all of these donors and board members quit. The Australian paper was like trashing them. And it's like when I went to drum school, the number one thing that they were constantly telling us is to be an artist is to have a point of view. Like that's the most important thing about being an artist, whether you're a writer, a musician, a singer, even a streamer, in my opinion. You know how Hassan's always like, I'm a propagandist. It's like, no, you're doing art, you're having a point of view and you're sharing that point of view with people. And that's why people tune into you.
Yeah.
It's what people resonate with, your point of view. And it's like to suggest that I find it very interesting with Taylor Swift. I feel like her politics, to the extent that she has any that are public, extend only so far as herself.
I somewhat agree, but the mention of the patriarchy in that article suggests to me that it goes a little bit further. She's kind of just doomed either way.
But do you not see like even like her like it's I'm doing what men do, so I beat them at the patriarchy because I get into capitalism too. It's like very girl boss feminism.
I agree
that happens to give cover for her actions, which ultimately just make her a billionaire.
I agree, and I do think that The Man in particular as a song is very girl boss feminism.
And I have no problem with that, right?
I think it's a good stepping stone for a lot of women to then realize, oh, wait, like it kind of opens the door to feminism a little bit, especially for comfortable white women. At least it kind of did for me until I realized, oh, hold on a minute. So wait, if you are a CEO and you have 3 kids and you outsource the labor to another woman, hold on a minute. And then you start asking the right questions, but...
Okay, picks.
Nah, hit me with it. I'm excited. Chat.
How old is Taylor Swift?
33.
Why are we still treating her like she's 16? It's a woman who's making money off being a feminist, right? By saying she's a feminist. And right now she writes an article about her feminism, which is beating men. This is what I mean when I say her feminism only extends as far as herself, right? It's my CDs got stolen. These people tried to trick me. I'm a woman in a male-dominated industry. It's not. There are women who are miscarrying in Gaza because of the stress.
I completely, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like her political stance is only as far as her. It's the same. I actually think it's very different to Beyonce. And in many ways, I think their apolitical nature is very different. But it always annoys me because like I'm not giving cover to a 33-year-old. I'm not doing it. It's a choice.
I agree. I feel like I probably give a little more leeway only because she was so incredibly vilified. And that annoys me so much. But I think it's also put her in a position where pushing back against that is a core part of her identity. And
I'd like to counter you.
Please.
One word. Madonna.
Yes. Yes. Did we have... why am I having deja vu?
I don't know if we've spoken about Madonna. I think we might have spoken about her sex book. But what I'd actually like to talk about is like at the peak of her career, right, with Like a Virgin, she released Like a Virgin. And when you open the CD packet, it had an information booklet on safe sex for AIDS. Because at the time it wasn't talked about because it was so taboo and a lot of her fan base was queer. And so she actually put in information about AIDS and about how to protect yourself from it in her CD, knowing that the gays would buy it. And it's like, that's actually taking a huge risk.
Yes.
Something Taylor would never, ever do.
You don't think? You don't think it's possible? I think it's possible that in the future she does. I think she's building up goodwill.
What is enough?
Well, see, this is the thing. She's a billionaire now. I don't know what is enough.
She's a billionaire who's getting people to buy records that she's already released. Okay.
I agree.
Not even music.
I agree.
She's saved the American economy with her tour.
True.
Right? You know, even if she makes a bad mistake, like, people are going to forgive her. That's what people do when they like an artist. They find ways to make excuses for them.
I agree. And that is kind of what I am doing right now to prove a point.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, but I don't know if because of her impact now, right, and how many women are her fans, right? Think about how much we know about feminism and feminist adjacent kind of social structures and stuff like that. And then everyone. And how wide her reach is right now. I just don't, I don't.
Saying, if she's picking an issue, right, like Audrey Hepburn picked children. She advocated for children all around the world. Angelina Jolie advocates for refugees. Jane Fonda, massive communist, right? Like, there is the ability to be political and just stand by your values as an artist. Because at the end of the day, we are lying to ourselves if we suggest that Taylor Swift is just oblivious that there's a major conflict happening right now, which means she knows and she's choosing to make money over say something, which either means her values are terrible or she's willing to be a hypocrite when it comes to her values. And you can forgive that, but like, it's just something worth keeping in mind.
I am not necessarily forgiving that because no, but the list of celebrities that are saying anything about the situation in Palestine right now is very fucking short, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, it's like, how do you say something, right? Like, this was the big controversy about, like, should the Heiress film and the Renaissance film air in Israel? That's not as big. That's not actually coming out and saying something. That's just like, I don't want to give cultural cover at the moment by having my film screen there, which I think, to me, that's a bigger issue. Like, I think Beyonce is kind of worse about it, right? And it's not her fault. I think, like, as a Black woman, her politics are inescapable because they're written over her body,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
Like, whether she chooses to have them or not, she's one of the most apolitical celebrities, and yet she is one of the most politically divisive celebrities.
Yeah.
And so Beyonce can't really escape it in the same way Taylor Swift can be like, tee-hee, I'm a little girl, I like boys. Like, that gives her a lot of cover that Beyonce doesn't have.
So, okay, here's a curveball. Do you think that, I do think that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are dating authentically now, right? I don't think it's a PR stunt, but
so tough.
It feels like a sneak attack towards, like, it feels like conservative values, doesn't it? Like, it feels, it feels like Barbie and Ken, perfect American dream love story.
And I think that this is gonna make me sound so bad. I don't even care. It's a me
I'm
thing.
gonna need a whiteboard. I'm gonna need a whiteboard. All right, everybody, hold on. Everybody, hold on.
It's a personal anecdote. I once had this massive crush on this girl. Like, it was an insane, I think I've told you this story, but I'm telling you anyway. I had a crazy crush on this girl, but I couldn't be normal and just, like, approach her. I had to do the weirdest thing possible, right? Which was just, like, hook up with everyone I could in front of her, learn absolutely everything I could about her, stalk her completely, right?
Have I told you I'm a mastermind?
Literally, exactly.
This is real side eye.
I was like, maybe I'll start dating someone she knows to get information about her from this person.
Yeah, that's unhinged.
I did do that. And then I fell in love with that person, right? So, like, what that wasn't PR because someone didn't set it up for me. I set it up for myself.
Yes.
But it started as personal PR, and then it ended up being personal PR targeted at one singular person, and then it ended up being something more. So that could be the truth with Taylor and Travis.
I kind of agree, but I also think Travis is also a little bit narcissistic. You kind of have to be an American footballer, right? And so is Taylor. In order to get to either of their positions, you have to have a degree of narcissism, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I do think that Travis set himself up the storyline of being able to hit on Taylor and have it work, because it fits into Taylor's kind of inner narrative of what it's a love story.
The difference that you and I have here is that you think Travis is smart and I think he's stupid.
Well, maybe it's the team around him, right? I think that's also where these big artists get stuck with their politics as well, because they're no longer a single human being. They are a conglomerate.
I'm so glad you said that, because it actually relates to my opinion on... Sorry, I got so hyped.
No, that was so exciting.
The pictures for Time are a fucking disaster.
I agree. Okay, I'm so glad that... Yes, okay. I'm so glad that we agree on this.
And this is the same team that did Lady Gaga's Applause pictures and music video, which makes me think that Time got their grubby corporate hands on it and ruined it.
I think they wanted to depict her as businesswoman, androgynous, powerful. And then the thing that annoys me most is, in order to be perceived as powerful, you have to have that andro look, and that's what they were trying to depict, where we are trying to get to the point where you can be perceived as powerful without having to embody masculinity or embody like a
this was
femme mask.
Okay, in my video that I made on Netanyahu, my tits are out. We're not going to deny it. They're out.
Oh no, they were there. It was great.
That was intentional. Because, and not because I'm like, oh, I need to like show off my body to get attention. No, it's because I can be a feminine woman and intelligent at once. And I'm not going to like androgynize myself or masculinize myself so you take me seriously, because I want women who look like me to know that you're allowed to be interested in this stuff, even if you're also interested in other stuff. And it annoys me when I see, like, there are so many beautiful, strong, intelligent women who don't need to... She is a girl boss in her sequin fucking little onesie.
I agree. And that's, I mean, we agree entirely on that. That is why I used to dress as mask as possible, because I was like, internalized misogyny, no one would take me seriously unless, I looked a certain way of powerful. No. Then we processed that, and I was like, mm-mm.
But it's so like insidious, because I think I've told you this before as well, but when I went to the European Conference for Gender and Politics, like, this is a feminist conference. And I had on my long nails, and I had these amazing pink tuxedo pants and this like silk shirt, and people were acting like I was stupid. Like, all of the women were wearing black turtlenecks and like suits, and they were trying to masculinize their appearance. And I'm like, no, I'm a girl.
But
Sorry.
But that's because it's so deeply entrenched that any sort of academic authority comes from a masculine place. So, for example, there's all of this psychology behind glasses and perception of people who wear glasses. And if you go back and you think about the first people to wear glasses, it was people who were reading a lot. It was the old people who were reading a lot, and they'd have a monocle, and then all of a sudden it's glasses. There's studies, I would have to look them up, by the way, so I don't want to give like false information on a podcast. No, but there are increases in perception of intelligence, perception of honesty, it's across the board that if you wear glasses, people perceive you as more intelligent because of the historical association with who wore glasses.
That's crazy. And makes me feel good because my eyesight's going. So
is mine.
At least
my glasses are right here, and I do not have them on. It's fine.
No, but what annoyed me is like, it's like Taylor can take such a beautiful photo, and she's so the reason that she is the person of the year is because of her. And when I say like I'm a girl or she's a girl, I mean girl, like not a woman. She is a woman, obviously. She's a powerful woman, but she's got this girl quality that she plays with. It's bows, it's sequins, it's the power of girl.
Yeah.
The power of taking that energy, right? Like think about even like something like One Direction. One Direction was big because of the power of girl. Justin Bieber is big because of the power of girl. So you take the thing that catapults her to where she is and you deride it by saying, don't include that at all in this photo shoot. Get rid of it.
I, again, agree. I think it's interesting because I don't know how it was for you, but Taylor Swift at the very beginning was singing about things that were girl. And it didn't feel like anybody else was singing about like these feelings that we were told, like silly little feelings, like silly little girl feelings, like be more mature, you know, why are you romanticizing love or anything? Like we were told we were silly. And then all of a sudden there was this woman who was validating the feelings of girl.
And she was just being unapologetically girl.
Yeah.
And just like saying it how it was.
But you can kind of see over her eras, her going through the same sort of like
she got stuck in girl. I'm sorry. She is a perennial, like, this is even why I find it very funny when people like, she always sings from the position of victim. As if she's still a 16-year-old who's getting her heart broken over and over and over again. I'm not saying that necessarily as a criticism. I'm just saying it descriptively.
I kind of disagree. I think a lot of her music, especially later music, has gone to like melancholic retrospective rather than
I guess.
from the position of victim. I think it's more like, especially Folklore and Midnights and definitely Evermore, which turns out might have been a Joe breakup album almost for sure because of the timing. I think it's melancholic introspection more than anything else as she's aged. But also,
yeah, but I still feel like, you know, every time she hates a man, everyone's like, we're gonna hate him, the same way you do when you're 16.
Well, speaking of like hating men, but not hating men,
happy to talk about that anytime.
But I'm not going to talk about that. What did you think about the Kim Kardashian diss in the article itself? Because I have thoughts. I'm interested in your thoughts, but
okay. I know that it's off limits, but I do want to say that historically at this time, when this scandal first happened, I was possibly one of Kanye West's biggest fans. Okay. So for me,
you're like,
at the time,
why are my parents fighting?
I wasn't even like, this is why I warn you that like I'm a Taylor Swift anti-fan, even though I know all of her music and I love it all and I can sing every word and I follow every single movement she makes and I'm high-key obsessed with her. We wouldn't be friends. Like, we're not friends. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
I think you would be friends.
No. I would be too short to be her friend. You're the tall one.
Oh.
You would actually get in.
Yeah, but I'm hanging out with Charlie XCX, right? Like, I'm not a Taylor Swift girl. I'm just not in terms of like.
Nah, I would want to hang out. I just would like to see how her mind works in like that context. Like, I would be fascinated. Are you kidding? Her life experience is so incredibly different and full, and I would like to know how she experiences time, because like
I don't know if she'd let you know.
She probably wouldn't, but I would try. Like I would be if she was like, "Yo, Pix, would you like to be my friend?" I would be like, "Well, we can try. Yes, please."
Yeah.
Am I gonna say no? I'm probably not. I would probably be. See, oh my God, you have such moral rigidity. I don't have any.
No, but you would be like, I can see you two getting along, whereas like I can see us accidentally becoming enemies extremely quickly, right?
Yeah, but I feel like you would I don't know. I feel like you think you would, but you know how sometimes when you see yourself or like you see the good qualities in someone and then you're like, oh, I don't like that person because I don't like that person. Do you think it could be maybe like
I just feel like...
Do you think she's smart?
Of course she's smart.
Like, she's very smart.
Of course. She's incredibly well-resourced, but of
True.
course she's intelligent. Of course she's talented. She couldn't get to where she is without those things. Lots of people have a lot of resources.
Also,
just pearly things.
And lots of privilege at the beginning too.
Yeah. So, like, you know, I'm sorry, you're getting flown out for vocal lessons at 10 to another state once a week. Like, your family uproot to Nashville. Like, that's a lot of resources.
Yes.
But even with those resources aside, plenty of resourceful people who don't have the talent to get them anywhere, right? So I'm not going to degrade any of her gifts. I think she's incredibly smart, capable. I think she's got great storytelling abilities. I enjoy her as an artist. I just know our values would clash so deeply. Like,
I foresee that happening for me as well, because I would want her to speak out on more stuff. But I'm not seeing the death threat she's getting. I'm not seeing what it's like to be someone
but
that
she's not
known.
Being killed.
Well, no, and that's the thing. That's the thing. She has the resources not, and then there are people currently being ethnically cleansed. So I completely agree.
I think for me personally, it's like, for me, it was harder with Selena Gomez, right? Like, I don't know. I think I've told you I was a huge Selena fan, big Selena fan. Watched her documentary, walked away from it. I was like, I hate this woman.
It did not feel good, did it?
This woman sucks. She's terrible. She's a terrible person.
Have you seen she's been cancelled on TikTok, like, actually this second?
It's actually very funny because I was talking the other day to my quasi sister-in-law about, like, how Selena needs to move on, because it's been 6 years since Hailey and Justin are married, and she's picked like 8 fights with Hailey this year. But to actually say, I'm willing to bend over backwards to defend my boyfriend on Instagram, but I'm not willing to say shit about Palestine.
I agree.
Crazy.
I agree. Also, the fact that she didn't notice, but also the fact that she didn't notice the comment that she had left, and, like, that it was being fed back to her. Yeah, you can just tell that there's a lot of trauma there, like, a lot. But it's so hard, because I think, especially in progressive politics, we end up in this trap. Sometimes rightfully so, because, like, there are things going on the planet right now that are horrendous, and we're sitting here drinking, right? The conflict and the duality of that is not lost on me at all. And I think that we fall into the trap on the left of, it's not full oppression Olympics, but it also is, right? I can acknowledge that Selena Gomez and the way that she has ended up has a lot to do with the trauma of being in a very young relationship in the public eye, and probably being stunted in her emotional, but it's an entirely different set of circumstances.
I understand it's a different set of circumstances, but I also think a lot of people have a lot of trauma.
I agree.
She's the most followed woman on Instagram. She's got a hugely popular makeup line. She's a successful actress on a hit TV show. She's a very successful recording artist who won awards this year. So, like, for me, is this like when Taylor said in her article, oh yeah, I don't get therapy. It's like, you probably should.
You should. It's probably not the worst idea.
That's not, like, I don't know why you would brag about that. That's like a diabetic being like, I don't take insulin. It's like, you probably should in your condition.
Do you think, I'm sure Taylor has seen a therapist.
She's lying.
I'm sure she's seen a therapist, as if she hasn't.
That's what I mean. I just think, like, the thing that I don't expect celebrities to be leaders of movements, right? No. I don't want Taylor Swift to suddenly be like, I am taking I think it's very funny when that happens. Like, Amy Schumer on the Zionist side basically runs Israel's account. Like, she's coming out firing. She's actually got the funniest content I've ever seen her do, just defending Israel.
Yeah.
No, but, like, this is, I have a lot of friends who grew up in the Jewish diaspora, and you're told a lot of things about Israel, right?
There's a lot of propaganda,
and there's a lot of just straight up anti-Semitism that exists in the world. So I can look at what Amy Schumer is doing and Amy Schumer's doing and be like, okay, she's lost her mind. But I also understand why
Where
she's
it's
lost
coming
her
from.
mind.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's funny to me. And I respect at least that she's brave enough to say something. And of course she can say something because there's not much cost on that side. Whereas
No.
like Bella Hadid immediately loses everything. She's Palestinian, right? It's like, what do you want her to do? Just say nothing?
It's pretty brave. I respect it because she did do it before her sister did. I can't imagine the position.
And the official Israel account tried to start a fight with her.
I know. That's just saying.
What is the timeline?
Where are we?
Why is the country of Israel fighting with Bella Hadid?
I don't think many people have the tools required to live their lives right now and deal with the information that is coming out of what's going on over there.
It's so bizarre.
It is. It's bizarre. And you sit there, and I don't know about you, but the videos come up on my For You feed, and you see them, and it is. I mean, and we are not the victims here, right? I don't want to be like, but it is the most surreal thing to be living a semi-comfortable life, and which it is. I don't want to compare. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I know. This is why I was upset about the Sydney Theatre Company thing, right? Because the idea that audience members felt uncomfortable or threatened when they paid hundreds of dollars to sit in an air-conditioned theatre, and they were upset that during a curtain call some actors put on a scarf is very strange to me when there are people who are being carpet bombed. But it's a strange thing.
I agree. I think Islamophobia in Australia is just really bad still. And I mean, politicians don't help at all. And Australia is still very racist in both a casual and very real way.
Yeah. I just think as well, like, for me, I think something I want to get back to is like, Taylor Swift can hide because of her content, right? But like Beyonce is getting heat. Like I was a big fan of Lemonade, the album.
Yeah.
And there's that literally a line in Freedom where she's like, I'm a ride through your borders. And it's like, you can't have songs about like liberation and then just like not comment. You can't allow a country that's oppressing another population to be like, yes, this is our anthem. Like, and the same thing happened, like one of her dancers, I believe, died of AIDS. And it's mentioned very vaguely in the Renaissance film. It's like, oh, he's in hospital, he's dying. Alien Superstar, like it says, category, bad bitch, I'm the bar. That is queer language. That is all coming from ballroom culture, a culture that was highly impacted by AIDS. So to use ballroom culture to inform your art and then stay silent when someone immediately close to your performance world is affected by that disease, it's apolitical to an extent that I find like very strange from an artist's point of view.
Yes. What do you think about everyone having to have an opinion though? For example, I know we both know the 1975 as well. And dear old Maddie Healy, a problem, for sure. But a lot of their songs, highly political. And that is backed up oftentimes in their shows, right? In an ironic way, a lot of the time, that does not play out very well. And, you know, a lot of people call it out for being performative or whatever it is. But they are definitely more political and there is no winning for them. Right? At all.
Yeah.
And
well,
so
given that I'm this far in.
Uh-oh, chat. I'm going to hide.
I like Maddie Healy and I appreciate that he's brave. And I think that he was trying to make Taylor brave. I think that relationship was an attempt for her to be brave.
I agree. Okay, this is, yes.
Like, I'm sorry he says offensive things. I'm going to prefer, in the same way that I'm like, look, Amy Schumer and I couldn't have more different opinions on what's happening in Israel Palestine. Couldn't be further apart. But I at least respect that she's saying what she thinks, and she that is on her record now,
But
right? She can be held to account for that.
I agree. Did you see what the fandom did to Maddie Healy though, and then to Taylor Swift? Like,
yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Jane Fonda hopped on a tank in Vietnam and said that the Viet Cong were heroes and that even prisoners of war from America were war criminals, right? Like, and trust me, she was canceled out of the industry for decades. Like, sometimes you pay a price, and my question is, right, where's the line for you? I understand being like, look, I kind of have feelings for you. It might go somewhere, it might go nowhere. Your racist jokes and stuff, it's too much for me, and I'm not willing to lose my career over it. Cool. But it's like, is there anything that you're willing to put your capital on the line for? Anything? Because I know as an actor, right, my opinion on Palestine, if I were currently successful, it would get me out of work. I would lose work over it.
You are
but
successful.
It's not,
I saw your play. It was really good.
Thanks, babe. But it's like, it's not something I'm willing to bend on. This is something I believe in.
Well, neither.
Yeah.
So Taylor Swift is touring all of 2024. 2024 is a big year in America. We think Donald Trump is getting the Republican nom, most likely, because there's no options.
All the options are terrible, even if he's not. It doesn't matter who gets in. All the options are terrible.
Do you think that Taylor Swift, with her goodwill, could potentially say something? She also has access now to the NFL. The blowback that she would get, because I don't know if you know very much about the NFL, but it is very much, we keep politics out of sport.
The NFL to me is come over Red Rover with a ball and two teams for some reason. Why does each team have two teams? I don't know what this game is. It seems silly. It seems weak because they wear all this armor. I'm not sure what they're doing. I don't understand. You want to keep the politics out of it, that's fine. But sport, all art is inherently political. I'm sorry, it is. It is.
I agree. I just think it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
But we know what'll happen.
You just think she's not going to say
She'll
anything,
prioritize her bank
and disappear.
I think if there's a way that it becomes advantageous for her to support the Democrats, and she feels like it's a safe political statement to support the Democrats.
True.
It's not crazy, right? You're allowed to have
she's not going to go out and tell people not to vote. Like,
no.
even if she was like,
that would be more controversial.
I know. Imagine internally she's a full leftist and she's like, the establishment fucking sucks. Like, there's no way she's going to come out and be like, all right, everybody, we're not voting.
Also,
they would. The Swifties would. They would be like, okay, fuck, we're not voting then. Okay.
But I want you to imagine this, something you will not be able to imagine. That's how crazy it is. Imagine Taylor standing there with her mic and she goes, I voted for Bernie, by the way.
Yeah, that's never happening.
It's never happening.
It's never happening.
It's not controversial. Everyone I know who's trying to like save their leftist cred is like, oh, I voted for Bernie, by the way. Like, people say it, but she couldn't even say that. And Joe Biden is like your Clinton kind of Democrat, where he's really like down the middle of the line.
It's bad. He's across the aisle. He's like, yes, let's shake hands.
And so like, if she puts up a photo of making cookies that say, that's my favorite political celebrity stance is like, vote. But they don't tell you who to vote for.
No.
They're just like, vote now.
Participate in our really robust democracy that definitely has no holes.
Get out there and vote. It's like, no, you need to say for who.
Well, people know now because of the documentary.
Because she voted for one Democrat.
Yes.
And everyone around her made such a fit about it.
Did you see that the Reputation Miss Americana thing has been taken off Netflix?
Really?
Yes. I don't know if that's because obviously the Rep re-record is about to come out, but also her political stances are very visible. Like, they're moderate, but they're visible in that documentary.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I did like it. Okay, last time I watched it, I was watching it with someone.
Yeah.
And we got to like one point, and then we switched. We had an argument about if she was political or not, and then we switched it off and watched the Yeezus documentary. Because it got to the interruption part of the documentary, right?
Yeah.
Where he interrupts her. And I've always said, I do believe that Kanye, he made her much bigger than a country star. I'm sorry.
It was
he
big.
did.
He actually set up a victim narrative.
Yeah, he got her the sympathy of the entire world.
Yeah.
And then that is what she ran with for the rest of her career. I'm not saying that
I think the rest of her career is a stretch, because after what happened...
I'm not saying in terms of Kanye. I'm just saying generally everyone in the industry's out to get her.
But I guess you would feel that way, right? After everything that went down with the plane and the phone call. Okay, so we have to kind of circle back to the Kim Kardashian diss in the Time article, because
here we go.
TLDR, for people who don't know, Kanye wrote a song in which he said,
"Oh, to all my South Side that know me best, I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that bitch famous. I made that bitch famous."
I knew you would do an incredible job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was the song, right? And that was the line in the song. Anyway, Kim Kardashian released a tape that kind of was a bit doctored, but insinuated that Taylor had agreed for the song to come out that way.
Let's be real about this, though. Not a lot of people call the people that they're singing about to begin with. I doubt Taylor Swift's ever given that courtesy to any of the men she's written about.
No, but Taylor and Kanye had become friends after the incident. So they were friends.
She hates all her exes. And so if you hate someone, you're allowed to sing about them without asking permission.
They had become friends. She wrote a song called Innocent, which you would know, about Kanye.
Yeah.
So Taylor wrote the song Innocent about Kanye, and it was like, I forgive you, you made a mistake. You know, I still think you're a good person, and I'm glad we're friends. That's why she got the heads up, because at this point, she thought they were friends. That's why it's very, very interesting.
He called and gave her the heads up and sung her the lyric, and she is too sweet and nice and lovely to set a strong boundary. So instead, she's like, but he called. She could have set a stronger boundary.
I don't think it would have made any difference.
At least the video then would have had her saying, you absolutely can't say that.
True.
Instead of being like, I don't know how.
But are women?
Will people take that badly? I don't know.
But,
I mean, if you want to say it.
But as women, aren't we entirely conditioned to soften basically everything that we say? Like, I think that is a pretty universal experience of being a woman, where you kind of just, well, I was thinking that, or do you think?
I agree, but also, if someone's called you to say, can I call you a bitch in a song? You can say, no, I don't think that'd be cool.
She did say, didn't she say something along the lines of, like, maybe you shouldn't go with that? She warned him about the misogyny.
But she was like, but if anyone asks me, I'll say that I was like in on it, and it'll be so funny because people will be like, oh my God, I can't believe you rapped that. And then I'll be like, oh my God, yeah, he actually called me and I'm in on it. To me at the time, I was like, this liar about Taylor. I was very upset.
Because you were on board with the snakes. That's what happened. Everybody was like, okay, this bitch is calculated. And then they
came across as calculated.
Correct. But
what annoys me is she's like, I'm calculated in my music. She's like, I'm a liar. I'm calculated. I'm a mastermind. And then she's like, in life, she's like, but I was just taken advantage of.
Nah, I think that is a reclamation of that image. That is what her Reputation album was. It was reclaiming that image.
You mean, what was it? What did she call it? Her goth punk feminist rage album?
She did not.
It's in the article. She's like, that was my goth punk. Like, I'm like, have you ever heard goth punk? Like, what?
That's
what are you
not goth
talking
punk.
about?
Did she actually say that in the article? Because I did not read that bit. I must have skimmed that bit.
She was like, it was my goth punk. And I'm like,
I do think Reputation was a bit of a turning era for a lot of women, though. I think women found it empowering in the maybe problematic feminist way. Do you know what I mean? But do you think it was it felt like a gateway for me. I'm not gonna. It felt empowering to me when it was released.
Well, I have very controversial favorites on that album. What are your favorites?
New Romantics.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
isn't New Romantics 1989?
No, New Year's Day. Sorry.
Yeah.
New Year's Day. New Romantics is 1989. I also really liked King of My Heart, but
we have such different favorites.
And I Did Something Bad, and Dress.
Yeah. Okay. Dress we agree on.
Okay.
For me, it's Dress, Dancing with Our Hands Tied.
I did the acoustic version of Dancing with Our Hands Tied. Yes.
So It Goes and Getaway Car.
Oh, Getaway Car's good too. I really like Getaway Car. So It Goes. We can take it or leave it.
For me, the ones that veer lesbian are always going to be my favorites on the album.
You're like, I'm picturing Karlie.
Dress is obviously about Karlie. So It Goes, Dancing with Our Hand Tied. I think they're Karlie.
Sidebar. Very quick sidebar. What did you think of Karlie Kloss showing up to the Eras tour randomly?
You know, I think it's like, this is another reason that Taylor and I wouldn't be friends. It's like, how years after not talking? We're talking like they haven't spoken since Rep, right?
No.
Like, so what is that? We're close to
not publicly.
What, 8 years? And you haven't told your fans to back off once? Every Karlie post is just Taylor fans under it. And it's like, even if you don't like, there are people I don't like.
Like Selena Gomez did tell people to back off Hailey Bieber at one point.
Yeah. God, it was like the most milquetoast.
It was very milquetoast. But look, it was more than Taylor's done for Karlie. So
she did one of these. Someone called me crying, telling me they're gonna kill themselves. Guys, I know she's weak and like pathetic, but she's my friend. That it was literally a Regina George move. But like I just feel like Taylor never steps in really to be like, guys, I don't talk to this person anymore, but there's like no bad blood. And I really don't want every comment under every single post of hers being about me. That's not fair.
Well, she did.
When?
She did once with Katy Perry in the You Need to Calm Down music video because she brought her out. And then obviously it was like, well, look, they're friends again.
Okay, so she didn't do it with Karlie. And the only reason she did it with Katy is because Calvin Harris put her on blast and told everyone that she was going after Katy. She said, I know you're not on tour right now and you don't have anyone to pick on like Katy. He literally put her on blast.
Was this after her and Calvin Harris broke up?
Yeah, it was so funny. So what happened, I don't know if you remember this beef, but I remember it so clearly. It was so funny to me. Calvin Harris, Taylor Swift broke up. Taylor Swift then decides she wants credit for Baby, This Is What You Came For.
Correct.
Even though she agreed she ghost wrote it. But instead of just going to Calvin and saying, I want to be credited, she sent her PR team out to say that she had been uncredited and it was Calvin who did it.
I do not remember this at all. I have no
opinion.
opinion.
Then Calvin went on this weird... He went on Twitter and he clearly came across as a celebrity who doesn't tweet, right? And whose PR has no idea he has a Twitter account or access to it. And he starts tweeting like a mad thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, Taylor's a lovely girl. She's so talented. No hate. Bipolar the other direction. He's like, but this is such shady shit. And I know you're looking for someone to bring down since you're not on tour right now and you're bored and you don't have Katy Perry to pick on. But you can't pick on me. I won't let you do that. You said you wanted to be a ghostwriter. I never held that credit for you. Don't come for me like this. It's really childish. And he's like, but honestly, wish you all the best. It was nuts.
I missed it.
It's so funny. And it's like, he literally, and then also as a gala, he did all this stuff that was
Jesus.
like, everyone in the industry told me I had to grow a beard this year if I wanted my career to go ahead. So I grew a beard, but I'm so glad I finally got rid of that beard. And he had a beard the year before and the year after. He never grew a beard. So what were those tweets about? Unless his relationship with Taylor
was
a beard.
the beard kind.
Yeah.
I don't know. Her being public with Travis at the moment, it's not giving beard.
No, she's bi. I love how everyone's like...
No, I agree that she's obviously bi. Like, you don't put your hair the colors of the bi flag in the music video without being bi. Like, it was so clearly bi flag colors.
Even that, like, how, like, just say it. Just say it.
No, I don't think you have to.
Say it.
No, I don't think. I long for a world in which coming out doesn't have to be a thing.
You don't have to make it a thing. In fact, you don't have to come out. But if you make music videos about being in the gay car park and then you dye your hair bi-colors and you have dresses that are bi-colors and you make your lighting bi-colors and you drop hint after hint after hint that you're gay, like... But then you send out a letter being like, I hate people speculating to the point that even my friends are seen as lovers. It's like, you want us to do that.
I remember that letter. But that's always going to happen, right?
But she wants us to do that. She puts Easter eggs in that lead us that direction. All the Alice in Wonderland stuff is Diana Agron. We all know it.
Yes.
We all know it. And you denying it and gaslighting us and gaslighting the gay community.
I think it's keeping the mystery, though. I think it's because if you come out with answers, all of a sudden the mystery is gone. And Taylor knows, and I want to say Taylor knows, but Tree Payne knows the power of mystery. Like, we have to be very honest here. Taylor Swift's publicist, Tree Payne, is responsible for her entire public image.
Yeah.
Like,
but this is what I mean. When you ask me, is she smart? I think she's so smart. And that's why we wouldn't be friends. Because to be that intelligent and to choose your bag over your values can't be for it.
Do you get to a point of no return, though? Like, this is kind of like absolute power corrupts absolutely in some ways. Like, you get to a size where she has no option now, sort of.
Yes, she does.
Well, does she have...
Jane Fonda tanked her career.
Well, she might. We don't know that she won't at some point. We don't know.
This is copium. This is what copium looks like.
Yeah, I know, but I'm pretty. So
love her. That's fine. I love that you love her. And I love her too, in a hater way. I love to hate, and I hate her with love. And that's fine.
I understand. See, I am critical, and I will point it out, but I will also attempt to see a very tangible perspective, right? Because there is no way I'm ever going to be able to really put myself in the shoes of Taylor Swift. Like, I just can't. Like, her life experience is just so fundamentally different. It's like you try and put yourself in the shoes of multiple different people. I just try and do that to the best of my ability, not to defend her. Not to defend her, even though I am here because it's more fun, but not to do that necessarily, but to attempt to see where she's coming from and how I guess I would act in that situation.
I feel like everyone has different life experiences, right?
Yes.
And like there's an extent to which Taylor has a choice that Bella doesn't.
But you don't get a seat at the table without having the clout behind you. This is the problem with like platforms like Twitch and TikTok and stuff, because until you have a platform that is akin to the other people with opinions, no one takes you seriously, right? So there is some level of like climbing that has to be done before anybody even fucking listens to you.
She's a billionaire.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Maybe it is the billionaire, or maybe it's the shift away from politics after. Maybe she does the transition into something. You don't know. She is only 33, which is young, really. Wait.
Young enough? No, young for you to do things old enough to know better.
Correct. But
Okay,
but like again, still maybe a good 60 years there.
Yeah.
That you can weaponize that a little bit.
Okay.
At a certain level of power. I mean, we'll just see.
I'll wait.
I mean, this will sit on YouTube until the end of time, and we will see.
It's good to have critical pushback.
It's just fun.
I just think as well, it's like the very fact that she dated Maddie Healy tells me she knows.
Yeah, she's aware.
Right? Because there's no way, like, if she was dating Maddie Healy right now, he'd be like, what the fuck is Israel doing? And she'd still be like, oh, I can't mention that. And, like, ultimately, that's a choice. That's my only thing that I care about, right? Like, I don't care if you choose not to like her or you want to love her and you want to look over it. I just want people to realize it's not that she is ignorant or that she doesn't know. She is choosing not to say something.
She is choosing that, but I also think the people around her are choosing that for her to an extent because she is more than herself.
They work for her.
She works for them as well. Like it is. I feel like it's everyone. Like she's definitely a face of the situation for sure, but her relationship with her parents is very tight. And I don't know about you and your perfectionist thing, but the idea of disappointing the people around us is a big one.
I've had 2 fights with my mother in my life. Okay, I'm a big mummy's girl. I do not like mummy's girl.
Oh, yep.
I do not like fighting with my parents, okay? I remember my mum, she didn't mean it. She was just like trying to cope with all my energy that I was like big on Tumblr at the time. I was mad about the Iraq war. I was coming out at her. I was telling her how bad all this shit was. I was like, and then I'm crying, right? Because I'm so affected. And she says to me, I just wish you would cry for your own people first. And I went, and I walked out and I slammed the door. And then I walked back in and I was like, I just want to know, when did it become us and them? And stormed out and slammed the door. It's like, ultimately, I just think that it's like, for me, I love, love, love my parents. I'm not like the last Christmas we had with my dad, the very last, he died. We didn't talk. My brother and I didn't talk to him because we got in a fight about war crimes in Afghanistan and Ben Roberts-Smith. Okay? So to each their own. For me, my political values, my human values, my core values, they're not getting compromised for anyone or anything.
I respect it so much.
I know I'm abnormal that way.
No, I respect it
limit me.
No, I don't think it limits you. And I think the more people you can encourage to be that way, but I don't think as many people are as grounded in their moral and political convictions as you are. Probably because they're not as well read. Or that interested.
Yeah, it could be an interesting.
I do think that more people, especially in Australia, but in lots of places, are apolitical than we would like.
I also think the level of conviction, this sounds random, but the level of conviction that I just explained is much more common in right-wing circles. In terms of like people who have right-wing beliefs will be like, this is what I believe. And if you don't like it, you can shut the fuck up.
I do. Okay. But my theory as to why that is because
left-wing people care more.
No,
about other people's feelings?
No, because I think conservative rhetoric is a far more simple message. It's an easier message to get across. So it's easy to be convicted when you're like, oh, did you lose your job? That's because immigrants came into the country.
Yeah, that is easy. You're
right. So there you go. There's your conviction. Whereas we on the left, we're just sitting here being like, so there are these things called systems, right? And they're all kind of functioning at the same time. And now you have to understand them all, and you have to understand the sociological frameworks that also feed into them as well. And also, like, the left is a big thing, and everybody has lots of progressive issues, and sometimes those progressive issues clash, and so we all don't get along, and then there's no movements, and then having conviction on the left ends up being far more insular than conviction of conservative rhetoric. And that's how they get it. That's one of our biggest problems as progressives, because it just ends up, it's hard to be convicted in a way that is intersectional across the left.
Yeah, no, you're very right. Oh, well, that's depressing, isn't it?
Well, you know what? Maybe over this series of podcasts, we'll be able to fix it.
I like that. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Why not? Someone has to.
I know. We could fix all the problems.
Someone has to. Why not us?
Why not a couple of white women?
Actually, we are a couple of white women.
We are.
And that's why we can fix it.
It's also why we're going to get so fucking cancelled, because white women are the low-hanging fruit.
Can I just say, we are the low-hanging fruit, because people don't like the fact.
Oh, they don't like us.
They don't like it, but you know why? Because we put ourselves in it, and we're like, we're going to fix it. White women are rescuing animals. White women are putting themselves in the center of movements. White women are fixing men who don't deserve to be fixed. White women are doing it all. They're everywhere. And people are like, go away, because we're not just sitting idly. We want to be involved.
Oh, I'm going to say that there are some white women sitting by idly.
Yes.
I'm going to say that there are. I'm going to say that there are quite a lot of them.
Yeah, like Taylor Swift.
Yeah. That's really good. That was a really good circle. That was
perfect. We fixed it.
I mean, okay, so I was having a think the other day, right? America has some economic problems. Taylor's done a lot for the American economy.
Put her in as Minister of Finance. Right?
No. This is theoretical, because I hate doing this thing where I just like assume that women might go off and have babies. Right? Because not all women have to have babies. It's not an assumed thing. No, right? So I just want to do the thing. But do you think that if Taylor Swift went off, married Travis Kelce, and had a baby, that America would see a population boom?
Yes.
I agree. I believe that is the amount of effect that she has on the American population right now. And I think she is aware of that power, especially as Times Person of the Year. Like, that is going to be even more reach, right? It is full saturation at the moment. We are at full global domination saturation.
So isn't that wild, though, that you're like, Taylor Swift is more likely to affect population growth than comment on Palestine?
Yes. That is the timeline in which we live. That is the point that I am making.
Family values.
That's the point that I'm making. That's the risk. That's why I think she will potentially say something, because it will be what she says or what she doesn't say will have an impact. And she likes TikToks. Tree is following the conversation. They are following.
Oh, they know. That's my problem with them.
They know
that's my problem.
No, but they know the image. They know exactly which TikToks she's liking, right? Taylor, all she has to do is like one political TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
But
she won't.
Nah, she will.
This is the bet, and everyone's watching, and they know which side we've taken on this, and we'll reconvene 2025 to see where we ended up.
I'm so ready to admit that I was wrong, because you are definitely smarter than I am.
And I feel like for all my hating, like for all the haterade that I've brought to this podcast for Taylor, you gotta know that my Instagram story will just be me crying on concert day. It'll be me in an outfit I made for myself for the concert, screaming every word, sobbing. So like I'm a hypocrite, but it's all right.
We're all hypocrites.
I'm gonna stand in the audience and I'm gonna be like, you're not my friend, by the way.
Oh no, I'm gonna be like, can we be friends? but in the way that like probably Maddie Healy wanted to be her friend, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe
Yeah.
I can.
You thought you could
maybe
fix
I could
her.
fix her. But I am also a hypocrite. I think everybody is a hypocrite. Also, I don't want to. I have played defense here a lot, but I agree with a lot of your criticisms of her actions as they stand today.
Can I just say, sorry, I want to get back on the Selena hate just for a second before we wrap up, because it affects me very deeply.
Mm-hmm.
That she's an obsessed psycho. I relate to that on a spiritual level. I also think she needs to get a life, but I understand that.
Well, she's dating Benny Blanco or whatever.
The ugliest man possible, close to Justin Bieber, so that she could just be in his orbit.
That's what I was going to bring up, because they wrote Lonely together.
She just wants to be,
it doesn't feel good, does it?
I know. I dated someone to just learn more about someone else. I've been there. I've been her. I know I recognize it. I see myself, okay? But nothing killed me more than in her documentary where she was like going to her like extremely handicapped ill friend from high school, and like her gift was her presence. She was like, yeah, I'm
here.
Like, you're an extremely rich person. Give her money.
Couple $1,000.
Give her anything. And you can see them all like standing there like, how's she going to help us? What's she going to gift us with? And she's like, yeah, I am Selena Gomez. I am extremely famous. And somehow I'm still worse off than you.
I hate that. I don't like it. But I
didn't date someone as an experiment. I dated someone strategically and then fell in love with them accidentally. You wouldn't know you haven't been there. It can happen. The side quest became the main mission.
See, that's so interesting to me, because I have never done anything that genius in my life. Which is
it genius though?
It's intentional. I don't think I've done anything that intentional ever. Which,
to be fair, I got stuck in that relationship, and then I was like, I didn't even want to be in this relationship. How am I stuck in it?
Well, you know, we create the cages in which we live, but you have inspired me. Maybe I'm just more intentional. Maybe I need to go listen to Mastermind by Taylor Swift a few hundred times.
You do.
You know?
You do. You've got to start strategically dating.
Strategically, just, yeah, with
not using people. It's growing.
I don't know how long this podcast is going to last, because
I'm so sorry.
One, we're probably both getting roasted by Swifties.
I barely even went hard. I barely mentioned Kanye. I didn't make any politically unsavory jokes, even when they came in my head. Oh my God, look at the time.
Oh my God, we have been talking for so long.
We've got to stop.
We have to stop.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Please tune in next time. Subscribe to Patreon for the unedited, uncensored 18+ version of this podcast.
That's right.